British Prime Minister David Cameron has ordered an investigation into the activities of the Muslim Brotherhood. His office says there are concerns the group is planning radical activities from a base in London. A Downing Street spokesman said the Muslim Brotherhood has risen in prominence in recent years, but the UK's understanding of the organisation and its philosophy and values has not kept pace with this. Joining us now is Olivier Guitta, Director of Research at the Henry Jackson Foundation, and he recently co-authored a piece saying Britain should be aware of the Muslim Brotherhood setting up home here in London. Thanks for coming into the studio.
My pleasure.
A year ago, a Muslim Brotherhood member was the democratically elected President of Egypt. Why now does the government consider this is an organisation that needs investigating here in the UK?
I think it's a double-pronged approach. First, some countries have designated the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization, Egypt and Saudi Arabia namely, and the fact that other European allies do not see with a good eye that London has been hosting some of the leadership. London has become, in the past few months, the third largest center for Muslim Brothers leaders in exile after Qatar and Turkey. So at that point, I think it makes sense for the government to say we're going to inquire, we're going to look into those new individuals that have come after July. It's not at all the domestic Muslim Brotherhood people that have been here for the past 40 years, but rather the new leadership that has been coming to London after Morsi was unseated.
Is it the reality, though, that it's really the pressure from Saudi Arabia that the UK government is feeling? I mean, for example, the person who's been tasked with leading this investigation into the Muslim Brotherhood's activities is, in fact, the UK's ambassador to Saudi Arabia, which doesn't seem quite fair, does it?
I would put to you that it would be a 50-50. I think it has to do with pressure from other countries, but it has also to do with domestic issues. Most probably the fact that, people in the Gulf are not happy with London hosting a who's who of Islamists is putting pressure on the British government to at least say we acknowledge that we have these people that have come to live amongst us, and we need to know more about them.
But there's actually been no evidence that I have been able to see that members of the Muslim Brotherhood here in the UK, whether they've arrived years ago or whether they've only recently arrived, are involved in any criminal activities. I mean, that's not been proven, has it?
Oh no, of course not. I mean, the inquiry, if you read it, it's really going to be looking at what it is all about, and much more an education issue, educating itself, but also a PR issue. So it's going to be based this way. There's no real at all proof of any involvement of criminal activity. It's much more of preempting and looking at what the Muslim Brotherhood is all about now, especially since you have the domestic Muslim Brotherhood and the global Muslim Brotherhood being in the same city, and maybe you won't have the same aim. So as much as the British government knows the domestic scene, the newcomers need to be vetted.
Good to talk to you. Olivier Guitta, thanks so much for coming in.
Pleasure to be in.